So you're interested in Dungeons & Dragons, but you just don't know where to start? It's okay to be confused at first. After all, there is a lot of material to sift through. This video is meant to be your companion when you are first starting out in D&D 5th edition. The aim is to make it much easier to learn about the game and its rules, and to create your first character. After all, no one wants to feel stupid because they're the only one in the room that doesn't understand how to do something, like I once was. First things first, D&D is a tabletop role-playing game or tabletop RPG. This means that it is played using a combination of physical maps and figures, as well as a multitude of dice, along with player imagination. There are the players, which is you, and the Dungeon Master, which is me. The Dungeon Master, DM for short, runs the game for the players. It's the DM's world, and your character just so happens to be living in it. The DM describes the environment and controls all characters that are not the players, be it the friendly shopkeep, the brutish orc, or the terrifying dragon. As a player, you are whoever you want to be. How you think, act, and look, as well as where you came from and where you will go, are all up to you. However, once you build your character, it is important to stay true to them and do things the way that they would. Before we can go much further, we need to talk about dice. You will need a set of dice that contains a D20, D12, D10, percentile die / D100, D8, D6, and D4. The dice all have their own uses in game, and we will get to that later. Now we are going to build a character. Everything you need to build your character and learn the rules of the game is in the Player's Handbook, or PHB. You will not need one for this quick build character. Anyways, let's get started. This character will be a human fighter at level 1. The class is simple to use, making it ideal for beginners, yet it is still very fun to play and also a necessary addition to any adventuring party. So this is your character sheet. Upon this page is everything that pertains to your character. We will need to start with your stats. The stats are Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. Strength is self-explanatory. Dexterity is how agile one is, and Constitution is how healthy one is. These are the physical stats. The difference between Intelligence and Wisdom is the difference between book smarts and street smarts. A scholarly wizard would have a high intelligence, while a crafty pickpocket would be wise. Charisma is how well one talks to those around them. These are the mental stats. Today our stats will be determined by the rolling of 4d6 and adding together the 3 largest numbers. These will make up one stat value. Ones can be re-rolled. Once the 6 scores have been determined, place them in the skill boxes as you see fit. Each stat gains a modifier, with 10 being average, plus 0, and the modifier increasing by 1 for every 2 above 10, so 12 is plus 1 and 14 is plus 2, etc. And decreasing 1 for every 2 below 10, so 8 is minus 1, 6 is minus 2, etc. These modifiers will be added to rolls involving these stats, such as skill checks or attack rolls. For a fighter, the most important stats are Strength and Constitution, so it is a good idea to place your highest numbers there at this time. Your initiative is simply the modifier for your dexterity stat, and your passive perception is 10 plus your wisdom modifier. We will discuss what those mean later on. Human is the best race for a beginner to play because there are not as many additional traits for the player to keep track of. The main benefit of choosing Human is that they gain +1 to all ability stats: Strength, Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence, Wisdom, and Charisma. This shows that they are well-rounded. If any stats move up to the next even number, their modifier will increase by 1. Next, we get a few technical items from our chosen race. A human's base speed is 30 feet, and they know Common and 1 other language. Such languages can include any, but generally are those of the races that your character would be dealing with. For this character, I'll pick Dwarvish. However, Elvish or Halfling are equally common choices. Let's continue with technical stuff for now, and move on to the character's personality later on. Next, we turn to the fighter class page and look at hit points or health. At first level, the fighter receives 10 plus your Constitution modifier, and their hit die is a D10. This means that for every level after first level, you will roll a D10 and add your Constitution modifier for additional hit points. Also, you have a number of hit dice equal to your level, so only 1 for now, that you can roll while short resting to regain health. In the box for hit dice, write 1d10. At second level, you will increase it to 2d10, and so on. The health you regain from this is 1d10 plus your Constitution modifier. Next, we look at proficiencies. or things that you are skilled at using. The fighter's proficiency bonus at first level is +2. The fighter is proficient in all armor, light, medium, and heavy, as well as shields. They are also proficient in all weapons, leaving you unrestricted in weapon choice later on in the game. The fighter is proficient in no tools. 2 skills can be chosen from the following list for proficiency. The list is acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, perception, and survival. We will choose acrobatics and perception for this quick build. Acrobatics lets you do flips, climb, and catch thrown items, while perception helps you see and hear enemies and traps, as well as notice things that can provide an edge in and out of combat. Every skill can be used by the player regardless of the proficiency choices. The player can simply add their proficiency bonus to the skills that they choose, showing that they have had training there. Each skill has a specific stat next to it, and the stat's ability modifier is added to rolls for that skill. Now we will move on to starting equipment. You have options here, but for the quick build we will choose certain choices over others to make gameplay easier. We will take chainmail, a long sword and a shield, a light crossbow and 20 bolts, and a Dungeoneer's pack. Looking at all of this equipment, we can determine a lot. First, we will look at our weapons. We have a long sword, therefore your attack bonus is proficiency bonus, +2, added to your strength modifier. When you make an attack roll with this, you will add that number to a d20 roll. For the damage, the long sword does 1d8 plus your strength mod. On a successful hit, roll this die and add that number for the damage. A light crossbow will work in the same way. The difference is that your attack bonus is proficiency plus dexterity bonus, and the damage is simply 1d8 with no additional modifiers. Different weapons have different die rolls for damage, which explains why you need so many dice. Next, we will calculate your AC, or armor class. This is the number that enemies will have to roll higher than to hit you. Since we chose chainmail, your AC is 16, but it increases to 18 because of the shield that we took with the starting equipment. The Dungeoneer's pack contains basic items that will come in handy, like 50 feet of rope, 10 torches, 10 days worth of rations, etc. Now we look at the fighter table and see that the fighter gains 2 bonus features at first level. The first is a fighting style, which is your character's specialty in combat. There is a long list of cool features here, but for the quick build, we will choose defense, which boosts AC by 1 while you are wearing armor. Therefore, your AC is now 19 and you will be very hard to hit. In addition to your fighting style, you also gain Second Wind, which allows you to regain 1d10 plus your fighter level back as a bonus action in combat. This keeps you healthy and fighting for longer. Now we will pick a background. A good one for a fighter is the soldier background, which grants you proficiency in a type of gaming set like dice or cards, and land vehicles. You also gain proficiency in athletics and intimidation skills from this background. A rank insignia and a trophy from a fallen enemy can be added to your inventory as well. The specifics of these items are up to you. Additionally, you gain the gaming set that you chose proficiency in, a set of clothes, and 10 gold pieces. At this point, you have the freedom to choose who your character is by filling out their personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. Alignment is critical to who you are. Alignments include the broad categories of good, neutral, and evil, and the subcategories of lawful, neutral, and chaotic. My quick build character will be lawful good. Last but not least, your character needs a name. Once that is done, you've officially created your first character in D&D. Nice job, dudes. Now we'll get on to how the game is played. This is what it will look like to you. The best part about the game is that it is limitless, because a large part of it exists in your mind as you imagine the events as they occur. I already explained that the DM sets the stage for the events as they happen, but you do whatever you want to do. The passive perception of your character is used by the DM to determine if you notice things while you are not actively looking for them with the perception skill. Combat is done in a turn-based fashion. Players and enemies each roll initiative, which is a d20 with the initiative bonus that we wrote down earlier added to it. Each player announces their initiative, and then the DM places their names on a board in the order that they go. On your turn, you get your movement, an action, and a bonus action. A bonus action could include drinking a potion, attacking with a second weapon, grappling an opponent, etc. An action is an attack or the use of a skill. Movement is self-explanatory, and we'll use the score that we wrote down earlier. The squares on the board are generally 5 feet by 5 feet, and each round of initiative lasts 6 seconds in-game, no matter how long it takes you to actually finish your turn. The order established by initiative lasts until the DM ends it, and then players can all act freely. I hope that this video was helpful in explaining the basics of Dungeons & Dragons and character creation. Hope to see you in the game soon.